Welcome to Sports Talk with Steve Jones, the daily talk show with the voice of Penn State football and men's basketball. You never know what special guest may stop on by any given day. Now here's the man of the hour, Mr. Steve Jones.
Our thanks as always to the student bookstore for being an important part of this.
Big Blue on the corner.
Yes. So we thank them.
And thank you, I guess, to only playing 4 players, because now Iowa is somehow into the Elite Eight.
Well, yeah. Apologize for being a little late. I was in a meeting with Matt Campbell.
You're a busy man.
Today. I said, do you have any concerns? And he said, there's this morning show I've listened to. He said, I've got a lot of concerns. I said, no.
The same place we are right now. You mean Jerry Valeri, I presume?
We didn't want to bring his name up.
No.
Okay. What is interesting is that of all the people to make that kind of mistake, it would be Fred Hoiberg, who's an outstanding coach and has had a great career. And in that moment, to have 4 players on the floor, I mean, that defies all kinds of logic here. I could see having a 6th player, and the officials see it and they get you and run you out there. You know, you take them out. You know, where you're trying to do a basketball power play.
But 4.
But having 4 out there,
and then Fulgeris puts it home.
Yeah,
and won. At that point, that was the game. That was the ball game.
That was the ball game, and it's inexplicable. And there's nothing you can do when you go to a post-game press conference except own it and then just move on. I mean, but the game is more than just the one play. It may be the play we remember.
Yeah.
But Nebraska had a lead in the first half, and Iowa was able to close the gap right before halftime, which then set up a second half.
46-43 going into the second half. And
not only that, Iowa also went on a big run in the second half to get to the lead. It's always more than just a play. And to me, it's always the full body of work. Maybe I look at games differently than other people do, but I always look at the full body of work. What was the journey to get to the big play? Because if you make other plays, then that play becomes insignificant. And they didn't. They missed a lot of shots. Iowa defensively, I thought in the second half, in particular in the second half, played a lot better. It made a big difference for them. They stayed out of foul trouble. That was a big difference. Nebraska really struggled shooting threes. And when Buttigieg is taking threes because you're late on the shot clock, that means you're disorganized.
So that's what I wanted to bring up is the 3-point percentage for Nebraska. So they went 13 for 38, which inherently 34% not good.
13 and 38, yeah.
It's okay, but not good enough. But you look at who made what. So Price Sanford went 6 for 10. He was red hot.
And you need that.
Jamarcus Lawrence 2 for 4, perfect. Braden Frager 5 for 8.
Right.
Great. The other players, the other 4 guys who took 3-point shots, Buttigieg, Mast, Hoiberg, and Jacobson, went a combined 0 for 16. And that was what does it. Is that means they went 13 for 24.
But let's take each guy. Mast, who's literally is in his 7th year. Rick Mast has always been a really good inside-out player. Always has been. And always had the ability to shoot the 3. Yet, starting in January, he hit a slump shooting threes. And when Penn State played them in February, I pointed out the slump. Because he became hesitant to take the shot because of the slump.
He went 0 for 7 last night.
Right. And so, am I surprised? No, because he hit a wall on that shot that even he recognized because he stopped taking it for a period of time. Well, when you're running these plays, Iowa's smart. When we're talking about matchups, there are certain people that are open for a reason. Buttigieg is open for a reason. Because of his, I would never have left Rink Mast alone
before January.
2 years ago, I wouldn't have. He didn't play last year because he was hurt. 2 years ago, when Penn State played him, you don't leave the guy because he can hit that shot. But now you're like, no. I'm going to leave you open. Sam Hoiberg's always been a very
up and down,
and Jacobson is not a.
But 0 for 7 for Mast is the big one, and then Buttigieg 0 for 4 again, where it's like he's open for a reason.
Shouldn't be. You're right.
That's the thing.
He's only. But he took a couple late in the shot clock where he had no choice, so he took it.
Yeah.
But when you see guys open, they're open for a reason. That's why. And you run into bad luck. Penn State basketball this year. How many times did you hear me say, this guy's 1 for his last 14 in threes. This guy is 2 for his last, and they make a 3. Right? They're like, oh, how can you leave him open? Hey, sport. Okay? He's open for a reason. Okay, he hit the shot, but I just told you on the air why he was open. He's 2 for his last 17. I leave him open. Right? Yeah. Go ahead. Prove to me you can make 2. Not 1. You got to make 2. Yeah. And so last night those guys were open for a reason. Sturtz played really well.
Sturtz played well.
So now you're guaranteed a Big Ten team in the Final Four because they'll play Illinois.
And
in Illinois,
let's talk about this game. So last night,
shut down Houston. Houston offensively was bad last night on 2 fronts. One, because Illinois played great defense. They've got great size.
Yep.
But their shooting was terrible.
Yeah.
They were lousy shooting it. And I know it's not their home gym. I know they don't play in the Toyota Center. But they got the home crowd behind them, the whole deal. And it says they could not
Steve,
shoot to save their souls.
I want to give you a number. So if you're not shooting well, what should you do?
Drive the ball to the bucket and get fouled.
And how many foul shots did Houston take last night?
I took 4.
2.
Right?
2 for 2. It was Kingston Flemings, and that was it.
Yeah.
That was all that they had. Illinois went 12 for 21, which isn't great, but they got 21 shots from the foul line. They're going to make enough.
And part of the 21 was at the end. They got fouled, and Boswell got fouled a lot. And unusual for Boswell, he missed some free throws.
Yeah, he went 6 for 10. But even at that point, he took every single player took it. They all took just so many more. It was just if you're not making shots.
Wagler missed a free throw late.
Wagler missed a free. He went 2 for 5 last night. Not great, but he had 12 rebounds last night. 13 points, 12 rebounds. A huge game.
But
Mirkovic 14 and 10.
But why does Wagler as a guard have double-digit rebounds? Long shots bring with them long rebounds. And because you have long shots and long rebounds, your guards are going to get more rebounds. First of all, Wagler has good size to begin with. I mean, he's like 6'4", 6'5". But longer shots bring longer rebounds. And they fired up longer shots all night long. Not just threes, but I mean long twos.
Uzan, Fleming, Sharp all didn't shoot the ball well. 4 for 10 Fleming. Uzan 2 for 11. Sharp 7 for 16. That doesn't include their 3-point percentage, which as a team was 9 for 32, less than 30%. It's not good enough. It's just not.
It's just you're watching them. I mean, if you're broadcasting the game, you have to come up with 15 to 20 ways of saying no good. Short, front of the rim, and off the flange, off the back of the iron, off to the right, fair ball.
And it wasn't a strong defensive game in terms of turning the ball over, steals, blocks. They had a combined 14 turnovers between the two teams. They had combined 5 blocks and 6 steals. It was basically just no one could make a shot on the Houston side, and Illinois made enough shots to just win the game. But and again, the first half was bad.
Between Miricic and the Ivisic brothers, the twins, they can pound the ball inside because they are, I think statistically, they're the biggest team in the country.
Probably. I mean, Boswell's the shortest guy in that group, and he's built he's strong.
And remember, they bring the twin brother off the bench.
I'll say Zvonimir and Tomislav.
Z comes off the bench.
And he's the shot blocking, 3-point shooting.
Yeah. Miricic is good size. Stojakovic is good size. Davis is good size.
Wagler's got good size. And Boswell's shorter, but he's built like an ox.
So Look, so Illinois plays Iowa. You're guaranteed a Final Four team from the Big Ten.
Steve Jones, I'm going to ask you a question. What is the most number of Big Ten teams that have made a Final Four in 1 year combined?
I would say 2.
2 is correct. It's happened about a half dozen to a dozen times.
That goes back to, let's go back 50 years ago, 1976, the year Indiana went undefeated. They beat Michigan in the national title game at the old Spectrum.
Yeah, but you are correct. 2 is the most. There is a chance as of right now that there's more in this because, of course, Arizona takes on Purdue. Purdue won on the tip-in by Trey Kaufman-Renn last night right before the buzzer. Braden Smith drives, Kaufman-Renn in the right spot, makes the tip-in. Arizona then beat the brakes off of Arkansas, put up 109 points.
Again, I think what were the words I used yesterday? They played bully ball.
They played bully ball.
And I mean that as a compliment. In other words, they're physical. They'll attack you. They go right at the rim.
And that's the thing is you look at the 3-point number. They shot 8 threes. Arizona went 5 for 8. They don't care about shooting 3. Right. They shot 39 foul shots.
Usually it's Bradley and Burries that take the threes.
Yeah, Burries went 2 for 4. Bradley went 1 for 1, and then Del Orso off the bench went 2 for 2.
Del Orso made 6 threes in a game earlier in the tournament.
And Karchenkov 0 for 1, but that was it. They pound the ball inside. 37 for 58 from the field, 64%.
Yeah.
And going 30 for 39 from the foul line is how you're going to win a game.
Because I would say that the shot chart, I haven't seen the shot chart, but I'm going to guess there are a lot of green dots all in a semicircle around the basket.
Yeah, I can't pull that up myself, but I'm gonna agree. And then you add in there, like, Arkansas didn't shoot the 3 ball well. They went 5 for 23 versus 5 for 8.
What did I say? They had to make how many?
They had to make a dozen, and they got
they
half
make
that.
a dozen.
Yeah.
They made 5. So, in other words, when you're talking about taking 7 made threes off the board, that's 21 points that you take off the board, which then, as the full game goes...
Fun fact.
It changes some of the dynamics.
Fun fact, if they made 7 more, just purely on a numbers perspective, they would have tied.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. That's why I said they needed to make a dozen.
I know. You were spot on.
Because it takes, I also picked Arkansas too. But you need to change the dynamics of a game. Texas was able to change the dynamics of the game because they hit a couple of threes along the way. It's very what Arizona's doing in the modern game is rare, but it fits who their personnel. Part of coaching is, of course, trust is a big part of it. But what do I have? What can they do? What can't they do? We don't do square peg, round hole. Like, okay, this is what we can do, round peg, right? This is what they can't do. Put that peg off to the side. Right? And Tommy Lloyd's done a great job of looking at his team and saying, okay, we can shoot some threes, right? But
we need to pound the ball, get it inside.
But he's got the personnel to do it.
Koapete is great. He's 6'11", 7 foot. Karchenkov is strong. Krivas at center is great. Burries and Bradley are the ones who shoot the threes, but they don't need to because they're really great at going to the basket, getting their own shot. And Awaka off the bench is strong. Like, they just have a really good inside presence.
This is where Trey Kaufman-Renn and Oscar Clough are going to have to be really good, along with Jacobson off the bench. They're going to have to be really good of, getting in there and drawing fouls. Not just to get to the line, but to get them into foul trouble.
And that's the thing at Arkansas is you look at their team, 3-4-2-4-5-4. They just have 26 fouls, and Arizona had 16.
Right.
They had all 3s and 2s across the board, and that was pretty much it. And it's just you got to get them in foul trouble because you need to bring out Awaka earlier. You need to get these guys off the floor.
And also with Arizona, you need to play with the lead because they are the definition of the running football team. The way they play the game, they're like the running football team. They're in front. They can just keep pounding, pounding. If you have them play from behind, and I saw them lose a couple of games this year. When I watched them play from behind, they had to rely on doing what to get back in the game. The area they're not comfortable in, shooting more threes than they're comfortable shooting.
Yeah.
All right. Meanwhile, I thought Lawyer got off to a good start last night. Played a decent game for them. As you know, I've never been a big lawyer guy, but but I'll give credit where credit's due. I thought he played well. Braden Smith played, I think, for the most part, a great game last night. I was surprised he missed a couple of free throws down the stretch. But if I am Matt Painter, what really concerns me going into this game is what I saw last night. Texas over and over again drove the ball to the basket. Swain, drive the ball to the basket. Mark, drive the ball to the basket. Swain, back to driving the ball to the basket. Okay. Excuse me, what does Arizona do really well?
Drive the ball to the basket and get the ball into the paint.
Their defense...
It's going to have to be...
Their defense in the lane, Texas spread them out and just kept creating lane mismatches, and they scored off it repeatedly, and to their credit, stayed in the game. I mean, here's a first four team that comes out of the first four and wins three straight games.
Gets hot, feels good.
And hit some big shots late in games to win. Purdue's a veteran team, been there, done that. It helped that C.J. Cox, who's the young guy, the kid from Lexington, up in Massachusetts, he's been really good for them. Shooting the ball, hit a big three in the corner when they needed it, and Texas could never create enough separation, and Purdue couldn't create any separation. I mean, that was the game,
wire-to-wire game.
That was the game of the night. The other, and then and Iowa was able to take advantage of a power play late.
And then so you've got Arizona going up against Purdue. Just give me the team you think is going to win that game. We'll get to the other games quickly.
I just think because of what I saw that Texas was able to do, Matt Painter's going to have to make an adjustment here of some sort to close that lane up. I've got to go with Arizona to win that game by 5 to 8 points, only because the style doesn't quite match up with what they need.
And then Illinois, Iowa, they played early this year. Illinois won by 6
at Iowa City. Same story. Illinois just has more firepower, and that makes a difference. Hummerkaus, they can bring him off the bench. He was one of the few guys that knew Brad's system before the season started. I mean, I'm not joking about that because
he'd been there.
Right, he'd been there. I mean, Zia Visic had not been there. Miricic hadn't been there. Stojakovic wasn't there. Right, and
it was him and Boswell.
Right, and I mean, when I did the game at the Palestra, between the two teams, I said to Dick, I said, "Gee, I wonder if we ought to bring in the UN Secretary General here to help us with the pronunciations here."
And then, so Illinois, Iowa, Illinois is going to win that. So Illinois, Arizona.
It should be a good game, though, but Illinois will win it.
It should. So Illinois, Arizona in the Final Four. And the other sides of the bracket, you've got St. John's versus Duke in D.C. That winner gets Michigan State, UConn, but we'll start St. John's, Duke. Who do you have?
Okay, Foster is not going to play.
He is a game-time decision, apparently, but that screams that seems like a bad idea.
They bring in water from Lourdes?
Like, if you're up enough late, you give him some run to get his feet moving a little bit. But
Duke has been good, not great in the tournament.
Because they've been missing him. It's him and Ngongba have both been hurt and trying to get healthy, and it's been an issue.
That is an issue.
Caden Boozer's a good point guard. He's not a great point guard.
It's interesting that St. John's, which is really not a great three-point shooting team, actually against Kansas shot the three pretty well in that game. I think they hit a dozen in that game, something like that. You're going to have to, first of all, if John Shire thinks Jerry McNamara outcoached him in game one, how's he going to feel about seeing Rick?
Yeah. Rick Pitino was a different level of coach.
But this is tough to call because I think Duke has more talent.
Well, that's the thing is
they have more talent.
Evans is a really great wing who can shoot the three well. Dame Sarr has gotten really good at shooting the three, and he's defensively incredible. Cameron Boozer, of course, is an incredibly talented player. He's going to give you 20 and 10 every game. It's just a given.
And I think he's had a good tournament, not a great tournament. I think he's been good. In other words, he hasn't been dominating games, but he's played his backside off. He's played very hard.
I still believe
Edge of 4 is going to be a tough matchup for them.
And that's the thing is I think the biggest player in this game is Malik Brown. Because Malik Brown, and we've seen it time and time again. You got to see it against UNC in that AC tournament game. Like his hands are everywhere at all times. Yeah. And like he didn't have any steals. He had one block against TCU, but his hands are everywhere. And he gets a tip, a deflection, a steal. Like it adds up really fast. And if Duke gets out running, like that's where you want Sarr and Evans running. You want Boozer trailing them and finishing plays, and like that is where Duke can really put the pressure on.
I mean, to me, this is the quintessential 50-50 game. I'll swing Duke by like a possession.
Duke by a possession. In the other game to face Duke,
so now UConn, Michigan State.
Oh boy!
What is interesting is that both teams have played well to get here, but not perfectly. For Michigan State, here's the ball game. There's two elements.
Okay.
Number one, and when Penn State played Michigan State in December, Dick Girardi and I mentioned this in the pregame, in the scouting report, and nothing has changed. They turn the ball over a lot.
Yeah.
And that's a big issue. And it's really odd to say a team turns the ball over a lot when you have a point guard like Jeremy Fears who can give you 9 to 12 assists in a game.
And UConn gets 7 steals a game, for those wondering at home.
All right. So they have to keep their turnovers. If they can keep their turnovers to 10, they'll beat UConn by a margin, which now brings us to the second issue. The second issue is Michigan State's not a very good three-point shooting team. Neither is UConn.
No.
Right? I mean, so neither team is – so to me, the team that hits the most threes tonight, and if Michigan State can keep the turnovers to 10, maybe 11, somewhere around there, they can't get to 15. They get to 15 turnovers. Okay? They might as well at the half just bust back to Lansing. Caravan is a heck of a player. But so's Jackson Kohler. And Cooper, I got to give him a lot of credit. You want to talk about a guy that slowly but surely developed to become a better college basketball player. Carson Cooper is that kind of guy where you're like, first year, you're like, okay. Second year, he's a little bit better. Third year, it's like, he's pretty good. Now it's like, right, reliable across the board.
Yeah.
Solo ball has not played well. He's hit a slump. They need him to break out of that and play well tonight. I'll go with Michigan State to win tonight.
So Michigan State, Duke, who would you have winning that one going to the Final Four?
Well, they played earlier this year, and it was up in East Lansing, and Duke won. But they've got to have Foster back. If they don't have Foster back, I've got to go with Michigan State. If they have Foster back and he's able to actually give them
80%,
right, give them 20 to 25 minutes, I got to go with Duke. That's going to be a personnel thing right there. That one additional chess piece. If you don't have that chess piece, you've got a problem. If you have the chess piece, you can win the game.
Okay, so Duke / Michigan State in the Final Four. The other side of the bracket, Alabama, Michigan. By the way, UConn favored by a point in that game. Right. So that's a literal 50-50.
Right.
Alabama, Michigan in United Center. A lot of Michigan fans are going to be there, traveling from Ann Arbor to Chicago. They take on Alabama. By the way, it was announced Aiden Holloway is traveling, but he is not playing. He just was able to get the judge allowed him to travel with the team or fly to the game.
You can't play him.
You can't play him because of what's going on right now.
I'm sorry, you can't play him.
No, but he's
not with that charge.
Yeah. So
okay. I mean, what is he charged with?
Possession to sell, I believe.
Yeah, something like that.
But outside of that piece of it, Alabama, Michigan favored by 8.5 in this game.
Here's the bottom line. Michigan has to do a great job of guarding the three-point line. Because the formula for Alabama, and again, we'll go back to when they played Penn State in the Jordan Center. It's Nate's first year. The scouting report, Dick Girardi and I told you in the scouting report, very simple, and it has not changed in 2026. They want layups, free throws, threes. That was the scouting report we did that day. Okay? that scouting report hasn't changed.
19 for 42 on threes, by the way, against Texas Tech.
So when you have Michigan's front line of Lindenborg, Johnson, and Mara, are you worried about layups? No. Right? And they usually, for the most part, play in such a way where you don't get a lot of fouls, so that now takes care of the free throw line. Okay? Whomever is the best shooter that they have, you put Lindenborg on him. That's why I voted him Big Ten Player of the Year. Not just the offensive stat. You can look at all the offensive stats and the whole thing. I want to see who's the complete player. And that's why I picked Lindenborg, because he can guard 1 through 5.
Based on percentage.
You've got to be able to keep Alabama to a – okay, we talk about like Arkansas had to hit a dozen threes. You've got to keep Alabama to a dozen threes.
So without Aiden Holloway, who is their percentage-wise best three-point shooter, it's Michigan. It's Phylon. It's their number one scorer, who Lindenberg is going to be on.
He'll be on Phylon, and the whole thing. Michigan wins the game by 5-8.
Okay, so Michigan wins 5-8, and they would take on the winner of Tennessee, Iowa State. That one is 10-10 approximate tip-off time.
Really like Iowa State.
They are good.
I really like Iowa State.
Momcilovic, I love the look of. Taman Lipsey is really good.
They play terrific defense.
Jefferson's great.
And Jefferson, I think, is back. Jefferson did not play last weekend.
Against Kentucky, I'll pull it on up.
He didn't play.
He did not play, no. But they still played really well against the Wildcats.
I think they might have him back for this game. Again, it's not like a Foster situation, because Iowa State has actually more depth than Duke. I like Iowa State. I think they get through this game. I think it's going to be a tight game, but they'll win it by, I think, 4 or 5. And believe me, you want to talk about going from Ames to Chicago. Sorry, they're going to travel in droves for that game.
And then Iowa State, Michigan, they're both going to travel for that game.
I still think Michigan's the better team.
Okay, so you would have a Michigan. We'll hypothetically say Duke, purely because it looks like Foster's back. Right. Those two plus Arizona and Illinois is the Final Four, Steve Jones. That is the current as you have it.
That's the current as I've adapted to my bracket, because I was telling Matt Campbell this morning, I said, Jack was in this like buddy pool, like friends. He says he had the third pick, so he couldn't pick like Duke or he couldn't pick Arizona. I said, I gave him Florida. I said, he sent me a text after Sunday. He says, our friendship has been greatly strained.
Thank you for listening to Sports Talk with Steve Jones, a 7 Mountain Media production. Come back at 11 every weekday for analysis of the latest happening in the sports league